Today we'll be covering a fairly classic mod called Point of View. Originally released in 2003, made by the same dev of the Azure Sheep mod. The whole concept of this mod is that you'll be playing as one of the Zen aliens and seeing everything from their perspective, hence the mod title. It starts off with an overly long intro cutscene, kinda like my pre-alpha rundown. I recommend dropping one of these to completely skip it. Just don't forget to put it back to 0. You play as a Vortigaunt named Zonst, who's just sort of minding his business. By the way, you make that sound every time you toggle the flashlight, and it's as addicting as you'd expect. Of course, nothing will go wrong, right? No being that's known for messing things up will come along, right? Who could possibly do that anyway? Humans. So, humans break into some alien labs to steal the XTBS. I've beaten the mod and still have no idea what it does or what it's for, but apparently it's extremely important. Zonst, that's the last time I'm saying that, sets off after it in fear that the Nihilamp will have the Vortigaunt killed for failing to protect the XTBS. It soon learns that humans have built a bunch of research facilities on Zen, finds a huge underground one, and eventually ends up on Earth via a portal where it keeps chasing after the thing. That basically sums up the plot. On top of being an alien, this mod also features a journal system. The first time along I barely noticed this notification popping up, and whenever I would, my gamer brain would instantly notice there's an actual amount of text to read here and quickly disregard it. Despite that, I did actually come back later to read about half of the journals, and you're not missing too much. It mainly holds surprisingly detailed fan-made lore about various aspects of Zen, and comments on the player's current situation, sometimes giving hints on how to progress if they were to get stuck. I'll now be getting into the experience itself, so if you'd prefer to play through it with no more spoilers, you should do so now. Just don't forget to quick save often. This is a fan-made expansion situation, because Point of View attempts to embed its story into the existing campaigns, and it's a quality mod especially for its time. Just seeing how detailed these tight corridors often are is quite nice. While you do just go through a ton of labs and corridors, it does attempt to offer a few unique environments. Most unique setting being these mines, which apparently have deadly rats. Yeah, I guess since headcrabs are on your side, something had to replace them. The mod, at least in my opinion, starts off a bit slow. But according to the reviews I've seen, Zen is the best part of the mod. Take that as you will. I think it mainly has something to do with there being a few oddball parts, and most of them take place near the beginning for me. For example, here's a part of a level where you are chasing after a military vehicle, which quickly drives into some subterranean garage. Except the gate is guarded by 2 turrets and there's practically no cover whatsoever, so you just kind of end up awkwardly attempting to snipe them down with your electrical shocks, as you continuously get hit and your aim gets messed up as a result. At the very least, there's a healing pool nearby. Wait, you were meant to do this the whole time? Oh, what the f— Another one is where you have to fight this tank, but it's kind of a decoy fight as a thing flies in to destroy it. I don't know, I just don't get this one. Now, when talking about the layout of the maps, in total I've gotten stuck 3 times. First time was when I got into this lab on Zen, which had 2 doors on each wall. Because of those doors, you can easily get lost when trying to find a way to progress. Curiously, there's actually a journal entry for this part where the alien also admits to struggling with navigation. Wait, let me get this straight. The developer knew this part was confusing and purposefully left it that way for a meta journal entry? I don't know, I think even Gordon would get lost in these rooms. Second time was when I just got transported onto Earth. To break out of the teleportation room, you simply have to destroy the pipe here. And then you aimlessly walk through various corridors looking for that one door which leads you to a new area. And the third time was when the alien gets captured by scientists, then gets taunted by the guy from Azure Sheep, and then gets freed by a grunt. But this one didn't last long. Also, random fun fact, did you know these dickheads can poison you? Literally kill all scientists. Fourth time was this, but that doesn't count. Now, moving away from the oddball parts, I want to touch upon what I thought was interesting. Shortly after you're rescued, you find this trapped gargantua, and after going through a labyrinth of stuff, you're also able to rescue it. There's an entire chapter here where you work together with this giant beast, mainly opening doors for it to progress through the facility and destroy or fuck up a tank. Around this time is when the Vortigaunt starts realizing some things and chooses not to serve the Nihilanth anymore. It plans to use the XTBS as a lever for its freedom once acquired. I'm not sure if that plan would actually work out, my guy. Of course, you wouldn't know any of that if you weren't reading the journal, and would just be thoroughly confused as to why other aliens are now suddenly attacking you. I believe this is when it actually got me to read a full entry for the first time. You'll also start getting bombarded with these weird Zen bombs from here on out. Hive Hand is usually a good way to deal with them. Now you'll never believe what I'm about to say. This mod becomes a boss rush near the end. You have to fight 3 bosses back to back once reaching this room. The Panther boss fight was incredibly easy. For as long as you don't stop moving and hide behind a pole whenever it's charging a shot, you will not get hit once. The APC boss fight was embedded into the level, so it might not feel like much of a boss. Normally it's practically invincible. The APC follows you on an elevator as you climb up this train area of some sort. Eventually you climb up high enough to reach outside of its bounds, and get to drop an explosive on top of it, which gives you a cutscene this time showing you where to go. After the APC comes this helicopter, which I think most people assume you have to fight, but you really don't. Just go into this building and climb down the ladder. I'm not counting this as a boss. But the final boss is a decked out robot. You know, it's that yellow robot you see in Half-Life's 10-hour train ride. This one's probably the hardest of the 3, which is not saying much. It'll catapult you with bullets which can deal some serious damage, and on occasions launches out a grenade in your direction. Shortly after this, the mod is over. Now here's a weird bit I discovered upon replaying this mod, cause most of this gameplay footage was recorded half a year ago. In that opposing force level, you can walk through the electrical hazards in Sierra Vortigaunt. Nice bit of detail. You can try to kill Adrian Shepard if you want, but then run up these pipes to find a hidden area. There are just some loose enemies in this area, including a soldier and a sentry. Once you climb up the ladder, you find yourself inside the tower and a short sequence plays out of an alien ship flying by. This whole thing is more or less in reference to opposing force, as this doorway is normally blocked off by some rubble. But really, those complaints from earlier weren't a big deal to me. I enjoyed the overall experience. The mod's length comes at a decent 2.5 hours. If you read the journals, I'd say it would last an extra hour. For a mod with mostly consistent quality, that's pretty good. Selecting the hazard course will present you with a bonus level, which kinda explains why the alien knows how to interact with some human technology. Like for example, you need to pick up a keycard to rescue that Gargantua, which originally confused me a little bit, like how does he know that he needs a keycard, you know? Now for the weaponry, as this mod features some unique ones. I'll be skipping the Hive Hand and Snarks as we should already know those. Vortigaunt arms, the main weapon. You're able to melee and charge electrical attacks, which actually deal mega headshot damage, pretty much instantly killing most humans. The electrical shocks feature a lifesteal effect, which is going to be the main source of health, and it doesn't work on machines. Loose scientists will often act as medkits because of this. But due to the nature of this thing, you'll develop a habit of attempting to pre-charge the attack around random corners, thinking there's going to be an enemy right there when really there was nothing. As for the melee attack, I've ever only found it useful when dealing with those rats. I should mention this now, but you cannot pick up any of the human items or weaponry. Constantly trying to pick them up is another difficult habit to break, especially when there are these cool laser guns that some of the soldiers carry, and most importantly, a goddamn minigun I'm completely missing out on. But imagine, a Vortigaunt with a minigun. Oh, guess that's cool too. Why does he know how to use that one, but whatever. Chum Toad. I know what it sounds like. Just a different version of the Snarks. They are slower and less spammy, but their devs provide with stronger explosions, supposedly. Didn't find much use for this, especially when Snarks themselves are also available in this mod. Stukabat. In the most basic sense, these act like homing rockets. They'll automatically seek out the nearest NPC and blow them up. If they don't act dumb, that is. One of the more effective options, but with how many narrow corridors are featured throughout this mod, I didn't get to use them a ton. Dual Hive Hand, an unexpected addition. As with most dual weapons, this also makes you feel like a badass. Doubling the ammo count and slightly increasing the rate of fire does wonders for the Hive Hand. While this one is definitely fun to use, the fact is that none of these weapons can provide you with health. The best time to break out the dual Hive Hand is when your health is at 70 or higher. Otherwise, you'll still be mostly stuck using the Vortigaunt arms. Ultimately, you end up mostly utilizing one weapon and occasionally the few other options you have. Thankfully though, the mod doesn't overstay its welcome. As soon as I was getting bored of one-shot electrocuting my enemies, the mod ended. I wish that more experimentation was done with the weapons. Could have come up with some crazy biological stuff. But a mod having any custom weapons that are actually good is amazing on its own. Really just happy we have new stuff at all. Come to think of it, this mod restores some unused Half-Life content. That's why I call this guy the Chump Toad, because that's his real internal name. Stukabat is also unused. Whether it was explosive is unknown. They bring back the Archer for like one map. The minigun guy shows up on occasions disrupting the flow, and of course, there's more unused stuff. Obviously, this mod was made a long time ago, but if I could change anything, I would make it so there's more ways to heal rather than just the electrical shock. Why not heal from melee attacks or tiny heals from the Hive Hand? Another good one would have been to turn headcrabs into medkits. Although this mod was released before Half-Life 2, which is kinda crazy to think about, Vortigaunts eating headcrabs wasn't really a thing at the time. And with that, I'll give it a cool mod rating. Is that a cool mod or what? This is definitely the best alien mod made for Half-Life so far. There's this Zen Warrior mod where you play as an alien grunt. You really just have a Hive Hand that you can melee with and the ability to indefinitely eat human corpses. I've also heard the maps were recycled from some other mods, so yeah. It's super short anyway. There's also an Alien mode for the PS2 version of Half-Life. It was finally ported to PC not too long ago. This is where the Vortigaunt lifesteal seemingly originated from. Except even melee attacks provide you with healing. The best part is how all human dialogue is replaced with garbled noises, as the aliens should lack any understanding of human language yet. Are there any other single-player alien mods I'm missing? I do know the headcrab one, but that's about it. As always, links to all mods I've shown are available in the description. How about we finish it off with a hit or miss compilation? Ugh, that sounds bad.